Casey.
And this is Spencer, our special guest.
We're so excited to have him.
Spencer, do you want to go ahead and tell us just a little bit about yourself, what you're doing?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Spencer Crandall. I'm 25, I think. Yeah, 25. I just forgot my own age. I'm 25. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a country music artist, singer-songwriter. I like long walks on the beach. I like a good Chipotle burrito. Just classic.
The simple things in life, one might say.
Yes, very much so.
You just came out with a new song. How's that been?
It's been great. It's been really fun. Yeah, put it out almost 2 weeks ago, which has been really fun. And, we got some good playlist love. Seems like the fans really enjoy it. It's one of my personal favorite songs that I've written on and been a part of. So I'm loving it. It's been really special, really good release.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome. We were listening to it
Yeah,
earlier today, and we're like,
yeah.
but it was awesome.
I love that. Thank you so much.
So if you were to say there's 3 things people should know about you, do you have any off the top of your head? Could be random facts, anything.
Sure. We'll just start spouting off some facts. All right.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm from Denver, Colorado. Born and raised there. My dream in life for a really long time was to play professional football. So I played in high school, and then I got a little scholarship to play in college. And I got 2 shoulder surgeries, and that's actually how I got into music. I have an older brother, little sister. Sister's adopted from China. That's a fun fact. That's 3. That's 3 pretty good facts.
That's great. That's great. How long have you been a singer-songwriter?
Man, it's tough to I was thinking about this today. I got asked this by a friend, and I was like, it's a tough question to answer because I don't know when I consider the start.
Yeah.
Because I started by learning covers in my dorm room and posting them on Instagram, and nobody listened to them.
Yeah.
And also, I put out my first song, but then I also moved to Nashville, and those are all kind of milestones where you could say I started. I kind of go back to my freshman year and really trying and playing and dancing with music for a year. So gosh, I was 19. So you could argue 6 years. I moved to Nashville August 2016. So that's kind of when I really took the plunge.
Hey.
Was it always your goal to be a singer-songwriter?
Never. No, it wasn't at all. I wanted to play football. That was the dream. That was my identity. And then, 2 shoulder surgeries later, I was in my dorm room so bored. I had broken up with my first girlfriend. I lived away from home for the first time. And I was like, my world is collapsing. What is happening? So I stopped going to class because I was like, I'm not learning anything. And then I was just sitting in my dorm room, and I learned for my senior project in high school, I learned to play the guitar. And there was this freaking guitar that would just stare at me all the time. I was like, all right, fine. I will play you. I'll learn something.
Twist my arm.
Stop yelling at me. So, yeah, I don't know. I just picked it up, and it was I wrote, maybe 10, 20 songs, started doing some covers. I played some tailgate shows, and somewhere in there I was like, I think I want to do this forever and get paid for it and go for it. Yeah. So it was somewhere around there.
Did you feel like you had to make a conscious decision to just go for it and do it? Or do you think your path just kind of led you there? I don't know. That might be a dumb question.
No, that totally makes sense. I think at the beginning, I was the word I always say is dance. I'm kind of dancing with it, checking out, all right, music. I kind of like you. This is all right. Because it's a push and pull, oh, that kind of hurt. Nobody watched that video. Maybe I shouldn't do it. Okay, well, but that's interesting. I was sitting out on my balcony, and 20 people walked by, and they all stood there and listened to me. And then we talked, and they said I was good. Okay, maybe I should do it. And there's these pieces where it's kind of being brought together. I think something that somebody told me early on was chase the dream that's chasing you. At a certain point, you have to see some results and success, but I also was pretty aware that I was really new at it. So I had to give myself some patience and some time to just try stuff out. So somewhere within that, it's kind of holding both of them, you have to be better and get good and be incredible at what you want to do to get to the next level. And also be patient with yourself and allow yourself to grow and learn and all that stuff. So yeah, that was my those last couple years in college was that for me.
Do you feel like you're allowed to like push yourself to get out of your comfort zone? Like, are you extroverted, introverted? To me, like that.
I'm like highly extroverted. This quarantine sucks.
Hey, yeah.
Luckily, I've quarantined with some of my buddies from the beginning, but yeah, I'm such a people person. Like, I get all of my energy and all of my just my love for life is like being surrounded by people. Like, I just kind of broken down my life specifically. Like, if I can make stuff that I love with people that I love, I'm gonna be fine. No matter what I'm doing, no matter what phase or chapter of life I'm in. So yes, I am a huge people person, and that luckily allows me a little bit more to get out of my comfort zone.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's very brave. Also, like, wow. I can't even imagine. You said you would stand on your balcony and just perform to the people walking by.
I wouldn't like do it on purpose, but I'd be out there playing a song,
Okay.
and
It
then
wasn't like a
I'd
concert.
look down, and there'd be like a group of 4 people who went on a walk, and they're like, "Sing another one." I was like, "Oh, hi, okay, what do you want to hear?" And I would end up doing these little like concerts, because then, 10, 20. I think one time there was like probably 50 people out there, and I'm just playing like Wagon Wheel and stuff. I had no original music, but there was this point I was like, this is so fun. I would talk in between and like just kind of finding out like, ooh, if I play a slow song, people start to leave. If I play this, like more people bunch together, or they're texting their friends. Okay, that's good. Like, so maybe I should write a song like that song. It was really helpful.
Do you feel like you get performance anxiety before you go on stage or anything?
I, for the longest time, wanted to answer this question no, because I thought it would make me like tough or like cool. And the reality is yes. I get these butterflies no matter what. But it varies show to show. So like if my voice kind of hurts or I don't feel good, like I've played shows with like pretty much the flu, like just feeling terrible.
Yeah.
I hate that. That feeling sucks, because you already just want to curl up and like die in a blanket.
Yeah.
Let alone have hundreds of people like watch you and judge you. Yeah. So sucks. Yeah. And don't worry, I didn't do a meet and greet that night or anything. Like, I played my set, I got in my car, I bounced. But then there's some nights where it's just like I drank the right amount of coffee, I got the right amount of sleep, my voice feels good. I'm like, la, ooh, la, oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. And it's just like my band guys are there, my manager's there. Like, if it's a hometown show, certain nights like it's just either less or like gone. And I just kind of am trying to be better at just like showing up and being like, ooh, okay, tonight I have a little anxiety. What can I do about it? Maybe I can do some quick meditation. I'll call my mom. I'll talk to a friend. I'll eat some more food. On show days, I'm really bad at like, I'm not hungry for some reason because I get nervous.
Yeah.
But then that makes me more nervous because I feel anxious because I didn't eat, which makes me not want to eat because I'm anxious. And it's this terrible cycle. So I
cycle.
Yes. So I have to break my cycles. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to eat a banana. I'm going to do a bunch of push-ups or something, get my blood flowing, and just like fight these chemicals in my body with these other things that I know that work.
Yeah,
Totally.
self-care.
Yeah, that's cool that you can recognize the things that work for you too, because it's different for everybody. We actually, our blog that we released yesterday is talking about the things we do when we're anxious. And I don't know, it's cool to hear.
Do you guys struggle with anxiety?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same. Freaking same. I, at the beginning of this year, had got back from vacation, was going through a breakup, quarantine happened, Kobe died, the tornado happened in Nashville. I got super sick. I think I had COVID at the beginning of the year, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like, I was so freaking anxious, and I hate that feeling. And so I've been working on this, but like, I try to have these little checklists that I can go like in my brain, like, okay, let's control what we can control here. Are we hungry? Are we tired? Are we lonely? Like, that's a big one for me. I live alone now. And so like, I have to be like, okay, well, I just worked for 2 days straight. I need to go grab coffee and watch a movie with somebody. And sure enough, I'll come home like, I feel wonderful. Like, life is good. Everything's fine. So I'm a big people person. Like, I think self-awareness for me has been really helpful to like, what gets me anxious and what are my, 12 tools that I can go to when I need to get unstuck.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like you've always struggled with it, or you've kind of recognized it more now? Or
I think I am wildly extroverted and like a pretty confident guy, but I, especially when I was younger, had like really severe anxiety, and I didn't even realize it till I was talking to some of my friends growing up, and they were kind of making fun of me because like I couldn't get on a roller coaster, I couldn't go in a haunted house, I couldn't, like anything that I couldn't control, I was like, F that, I'm so out, like no. Because I have like kind of control, not like issues, but just I like control in my life. I like the ability or the illusion of control. And so now as an adult, I know like, oh, I want to control that situation. I know I'm out of control. So I'm going to make a gratitude list. I'm going to do these things. Because when I control little things in my life, it starts to stack up. But yeah, I've always struggled with it.
Did you feel like there's ever been like a stigma surrounding it that you've encountered, like a negative stigma, like you didn't want to talk about your anxiety because it's a mental health related thing?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And luckily, I feel like the conversation's moving forward and progressing. Yeah. I think when I first, especially country music, like there's an odd pressure to be 6'5", have a six-pack, never cry, never, you're just a badass superhero hunk dude who like is crushing beers and like, I'm so not that guy. I'm such like the emotional, like I write songs like my person that are just very lovey-dovey because I love love and I love love songs and I love people and I love emotions and all that stuff. So yeah, for a long time, I thought I had to be this like other thing. And the more that I do this, I'm just convinced, I'm like, I think I'm going to do me and that will attract a certain fan and label and all that stuff that just believes in me the way that I am. And I can't control what other people think, so I'll just control what I do.
Totally. That's really cool. Do you feel like having the amount of influence that you do affects like how you feel like you need to like be perceived by other people, or like I can't be weak and show my anxieties because I am supposed to like be on this pedestal kind of thing?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it does play into it because I've been places and I'm like, oh, these people know who I am, and if I do something like have a panic attack or like need to leave or something, they're gonna, in my head, and the truth is, this is what's so silly. If I just like got up and walked away, or even if I was having a mental breakdown, people are usually like, are you okay? Like they wouldn't just like stand up and laugh at me. But in my brain, I'm like, they're gonna video it and they're gonna put it online and it's gonna ruin my career. I can spin these stories. And so yeah, freaking spiral and the cycle. And I'm such a storyteller, and it's one of my greatest strengths. But also, you should see the movies I create in my brain. It's just wild. I am so mean to myself. Yeah, I'll be doing stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't write that story about my worst enemy. And I just I cast myself as the main character in this horror film of like, then my ex shows up, she pantses me, and I'm late to class, and I'm like, what is happening in this story? Like I'm creating a nightmare for myself that doesn't actually exist. So yeah, there's been a couple times at shows that I didn't feel good or I felt really anxious. I think more and more too, like in friend circles, like this year has really changed a lot for me with like TikTok and some of these songs doing what they've done. And so I do feel a little bit more pressure for some reason, even in some social circles and the music industry as a whole. I do feel like there's a little bit more of a magnifying glass on me. And so even the stuff I post on socials, like I feel like I have to think just a little bit harder because for so long, nobody cared and nobody was watching. And so I could just be like, what up? This is who I am. So I know that that's like my unhealthy version of myself. So I try to like bring myself back and be like, none of that matters. It all doesn't matter. You're fine.
Like, what do you think social media's impact is on people's mental health these days, with it just being like in your face all the time?
Yeah, I'm a weird guy to talk to about this stuff because I also am very quick to point out the good that social media does.
Totally.
So I want to always start there because I think it just gets such a bad rep. Because like for me, I found tools and podcasts and videos that have literally changed my life, and I'm really grateful for those things. And I wouldn't know what those are if it wasn't for social media. But I also find myself on TikTok for 2 hours. I'm looking at these people who I'm like, he's really that much better looking than me. He can sing so much better than me. Like you can, again, these movies that I start to create. So I have to be really careful. Sometimes, like, this might sound like a really silly trick, but I will look up at the clock and I'll be like, oh, I've been on my phone for a while. And I'll just lock my phone and just sit there for 10 seconds. And if I really feel like I have to get back on the apps, like I'm missing something or like I was actually doing something, that's fine. I do that. But I at least have to breathe the entire time. I have to like think. So many times I'm like, oh my God, I came in this room to do my laundry. I started getting on TikTok. I've been here for 30 minutes.
Standing here.
And the second I click the screen, you're looking at a freaking paperweight. Like, what is this? Like, this means nothing. This isn't real life. This is real life. And so I try to like pull myself out of it as much as possible. It's really tough. Social media dictates so much how we feel and what's cool. And so we all feel, or I'll speak for myself, I feel a pressure to know what's going on and to know who's who and what's what. And that it takes a toll on my mental health for sure.
I like that trick. I literally find myself in bed for hours before bed, like before falling asleep, and I'm like, what am I doing? I could be asleep right now, and I don't even know what I'm doing.
And then the next day, let me ask you this: are you the same way? The next day, I'll be like, God, I slept terrible. Like I have a weird sleep thing. Like if I would have gone to bed when I first started looking at TikToks, I would have gone from 6 hours to 8.5 hours of sleep.
Yes.
Like I would have been so rested.
Yes, I would have felt great. It would have been awesome. Yeah, seriously.
Yep. 100%. I feel you. I freaking feel you. The point of the vlog is to like do mental health stuff.
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Positivity. Just like creating like a space where we can talk about it, because I don't know, I feel like we grew up kind of like, can we talk about it? Like, are you struggling? And like, am I the only one?
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like, especially as a guy, for some reason, not like it's even more frowned upon, but there's just like a certain connotation of like, well, guys can't have eating disorders. Guys can't have body positivity issues and stuff like that. And I lost a ton of weight and like have gone through a lot of that stuff. And there's nowhere on the internet that people talk about this, or you have to really go looking for it. So I think what you guys are doing is awesome. It's great.
Thanks. That means a lot. Do you have any advice that you would give your younger self? We're trying to do this on each episode, just like a fun little advice to younger self regarding anything that we've talked about today.
I have a couple things that come to mind because I was stupid for a long time.
Weren't we all?
Oh man, young Spencer. Oh buddy. I think I would try, you know, it's weird. I actually like one of my bigger things I would tell myself is to trust my gut. There was a couple times where I went against my gut and I made decisions because other people were influencing them, or I thought like, oh, well, this would be good for like this other thing. I don't want that, but I think that's what people want me to want.
Yeah.
And I didn't take enough time to like really sit down with myself. If I could do anything in the entire world, no money, no parents, no girlfriend, no friends telling me what's cool or what's not cool, like what do I actually want to spend a third of my life doing? What would that look like? It took me a while to get there, and I would just implore myself to do that a little bit earlier and just have some more self-awareness. I just my, it's kind of the same thing, but I really cared what people thought of me, but especially when you're younger. But when I was like 13 to like 23, I was really obsessed with how people viewed me or like thought of me. And luckily in the last couple of years, I've realized like, I just can't care. I have to do what I think is right and what I love and what brings me joy and what lights me up. And like high school, college, Spencer, I was so obsessed with these people, and I was like, I have to make them like me because then I'll be cool and I'll be liked. And now I never speak to them.
Yeah.
We're not friends on Facebook. I probably don't even remember their names. And so it's a good reminder even now, like, yeah, in 10 or 20 years, I probably won't talk to some of these people too. So just do your thing. I think, tightening some of the circles that I had and stop worrying about like quantity and trying to be more quality in some areas of my life.
Yeah.
But all those are kind of the same thing, but just like really being self-aware to know that I didn't have that when I was growing up.
That's awesome. Congratulations on
congrats.
Success and all the good
Thank you
stuff.
very much.
So I bet that's super exciting, even though you're probably in this weird waiting game. right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's odd times, but I am super lucky, and I appreciate that. That's really sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Everyone, make sure you go follow Spencer on all social media platforms. Listen to his songs, jam out in the car. Yeah.
Good place. It's a good place to jam out.
Thank you so much for being on this. And
Of course, when you guys are like the next big thing, I get to say that I was here like first. So there you go. It's a win.
I mean, you are our first guest feature, so.
Am I the first guest?
You're our first guest.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into Authentically Blonde. We're super excited that we got to talk to Spencer, and I feel like anxiety is still so prominent and it affects every person in a small way or a big way. So we're just really thankful that he took the time to share with us all of that.
Again, make sure to follow him on social media. We'll link him below. And also, if you like this video, please like and comment and subscribe. Thanks, guys.
I find my person, my heartbeat, my slow dance, my Sunday morning sipping on coffee in bed. My nose